What's up everyone, Vu of Vu Films back with another video. And this is going to be just really quick, kind of haphazard video. I don't even want to say it's necessarily a review, but I have here the best lights you can actually buy for wedding filmmaking, videography, wedding content creation, douchebaggery, whatever trash that you get paid for going to a wedding.
Unprofessional.
My son is going to be home from school in like less than half an hour, so I'm going to try to spitball this out quickly. I have here this new Godox RS60R. This light is bicolor and RGB. You will see this light in two different versions. One where it's RS60 and one that it is MS60. Both have bicolor versions and bicolor plus RGB versions. Whether it's RS or MS, the light, the actual LED quality and all that stuff is exactly the same. The bicolor is going to be accurate in the bicolor department, but that's not necessarily to say the RGB version is not accurate. They're completely usable regardless. And the bicolor version can get brighter overall, like in terms of like lux or whatever. But they're both 60 watt. I have here RS60R, which is RGB bicolor, whatever. I actually have two of them. I'm currently using the other RS60R as my key light, just going in at 100% into a diffusion sheet on my wall, and it's just bouncing back. So clearly it has enough power for this. And mind you, I am exposing the way I like to, kind of dark, moody, whatever.
Your lady, it rat.
So keep that in mind. I actually even have an ND filter on right now indoors. So there's that. With that said, why do I think these lights are the best lights for wedding videography available for the market? The MS60 is more expensive than RS60 because MS60 has additional, I don't know exactly what it is, but I saw that. I don't use it. I don't require it. I think it's more for like people who are going to be on set, you know, who needs some extra control and all that stuff. You're not going to need it. As if you're doing wedding videography, if you're doing like corporate interviews, commercials, even films, you're not going to need it. It's just an extra feature that I think most of us aren't going to need. This video is completely not sponsored. I saw this light announced late last year, and there hasn't been really too much detailed coverage on them. And I've reached out to Godox, okay? I'm a YouTube douchebag trash. I got, what, over 30,000 subscribers. I have some following on Instagram as well. I reached out to Godox trying to see if we could work out some collaboration. You know, I want to try these lights out. But, you know, they're not really down to work with me like that, it seems like. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I understand I'm not as marketable as some of these other guys out there.
Unprofessional.
I still really wanted to try these lights out. So I saw B&H had a pre-owned dual light kit for sale. And I mean, it was literally like $200-300 less than brand new. And I thought that was a great deal. So I went ahead and copped it. And here we are. So why are these lights the best lights for wedding videography? Well, let me show you. For the past several years now, the most popular light you will see amongst wedding videographers is this Aperture LS60Bi. It is big, it's metal, it is heavy, it's large, okay? Well, the large light requires you to have a large light stand, or else if this drops on somebody, they'll sue your ass.
Hey man, that light so tiny.
Yeah, this is a Godox Lightman's LC30Bi. I'm really trying to lighten up the load when I'm filming weddings.
Oh my god, that unprofessional. If you want to be the best, if you want to be professional, you need to use Aperture LS60R.
I'm an old piece of trash. I'm not trying to blow out my back carrying heavy ass lights everywhere.
No man, your thread is high quality, not heavy.
I used those lights for 2 years. They're great, but they're bulky and heavy.
Let me show you. I do, man.
Bro, you alright? Sound like you just blew out your back and applied an earthy coffee-stained LUT to your drawers. I'm gonna have to visit a chiropractor.
No man, I think I need to go B&H get massage.
Damn, I didn't know B&H Photo does massages.
No man, I go butt and hole fur and massage. Full body with happy ending. Only $29.99.
say, a wedding guest that walks over to your light stand to turn off your lights that are on at like 10%, claiming it is too bright, it's blinding them while they're staring directly into the light, and they try to turn it off and it falls on them, they'll sue you and you'll get deported out of the United States of America really quick if that is where you're from. I have made the switch away from this a long time ago. I like to pack all of my gear into just 2 carry-on size roller cases. This means when I do traveling for wedding films, I don't have to change anything. And it still has room for like my clothes and stuff for the couple of days that I am traveling. So everything needs to fit on these carry-on luggage. That includes my light stands and all the lights I'm going to need. Tripods, extra cameras and stuff on a separate carry-on luggage. For the past couple of years, I've been using the Godox RS60R. I just use 2 of them. I cross them for the dance floor for dancing. I've turned them to point them for speeches. And I've used them to like light up ceremonies even when the ceremony is dark or lacks contrast. And these are rated just 38 watts or so. So they're not that bright. And the most important thing about this light is that it is not just like a standard reflector. The front, it is actually like a built-in Fresnel. I've gone as far as even, I bought additional attachments, which are like $10 and they're like universal. Very nice ecosystem. I'm going to come back to that in a second. I got this little diffuser that also makes the beam a little bit wider, plus this barn door. To me, the most important thing about wedding videography lights is obviously bicolor and being bright enough. And for the most part, this 38 watts have been plenty bright. I've used them to as much as like 50% brightness most of the time, but usually I'm like at 25%. Even then, guests will figure out a way to complain about it. But that is neither here nor there. Wedding guests will be wedding guests. They want to film, they want to take pictures with their iPad, they want to turn off your lights, do whatever they want. The other important thing about wedding videography lights is it needs to have a Fresnel type of beam and barn doors. The Aperture one comes with barn doors. It has Fresnel, actually zoom lens Fresnel. So it's perfect. It's perfect for events and all that stuff. It's just so big and heavy. And this one works for me 95% of the time. There might be that rare occasion where it might not be bright enough. Or there's a rare occasion where we need to turn it really quick and it doesn't have app control. And I actually have to turn it on manually. Other things was that it has like a standard adapter. Like it has a standard round like AC adapter. So I actually had to buy like an AC adapter thing to USB-C because all of my USB-C power banks, all my power banks are obviously USB-C. So there's these lights are great. They're cheap. They're like under $100, but there's obviously limitations to them. I worked around it. We all know like all these different lights that have released, these small compact lights, 60 watts, 100 watts. Godox has one here that I actually purchased also, the ML100, and it comes with like different Fresnel lenses with different beam angles. But again, one issue, there's no barn doors. They didn't come with barn doors. So, and it doesn't work with Godox's, most longest running ecosystem. So because it is actually the same exact size as this old, in terms of like diameter, it's the same exact size as the old RS60R. And that means it uses all of those same attachments, which is like the Godox AK, whatever number series of attachments. So I could actually use this little diffuser for it and the barn doors for it, okay? They actually have a new set of barn doors that are slightly bigger for this light. I think these barn doors is fine. These are the ones I'm gonna use on this light. But, aside from having just the perfect, I think, like, it has a great size, it has a great weight, but it has just an overall great ecosystem, okay? So again, you have all the modifiers you're gonna need, which I'll show in a little bit. You could easily detach this standard, like Fresnel, you would call it, that is non-zoom Fresnel, standard beam. And it has like its own battery. This is an actually battery attachment. It is rated at about 48.96 watt hours, which is half of what the standard 99 watt hour V mounts that we all know and love in terms of like how long it will last. And, you know, with regards to battery power, there's various different attachments that you can buy for this light. You could easily just take this thing completely off and power it just by USB-C, which makes it even smaller, lighter than it is with this on. And of course, I use these power banks right here that are rated at 91 watt hour. The size and weight is nice, USB-C. And obviously, you know, Godox even sells like these little straps where you can strap on the power bank somewhere in your light stand. And then, you know, it's a very good setup. What I have been using with these lights here is these little handle power banks right here. So this actually screws on to your light stand, and you just screw your light on right here, like so. Just to demonstrate, and then I plug in a USB-C cable, into the light. So this will be on the light stand, and it just lights up like that. Battery powered, everything. This is how my setup would be. Battery, light stand, and that's it. So, you know, and this also helps with the fact that my travel light stands don't get as tall as those bigger light stands, obviously. So this actually adds some additional height. And for extra safety, I would gaff tape the legs of the light stand to the ground. And I've had no issues with my setup. And again, the light by itself is like $200 for bicolor version, no RGB. And most of the time, you're not gonna need RGB. I just figured it was on sale and I got it. But I think if that wasn't the case, I would have gone for the bicolor initially anyways. And you know, if you like RGB, you could clearly use it for like some of those wedding events where like for some reason they really don't want any lights on or whatever. You could actually just set them to like RGB, use some mode and just have them cycle through, and it adds to the party. And it also helps you light up your scene a little bit, adding contrast versus being at pitch black with no lights at all. And it just looks horrible. So, you know, the reason why I use lighting for receptions is to add contrast to the scene. It gives people like a hair light. It gives people hair light. It backlights them. It's never really designed to like give someone like a straight up, you know, high key light or something. It's just there to add shape to the footage, or else it's just muddy mud butt trash, you know, looking like a coffee stained LUT from, you know, the mid 2015 era of filmmaking. Like 98% of the time, this is all you're gonna need for solid wedding videography light. You got two of these, you got them crossing during the reception. For ceremony, you could set them in the back and just have them like, you know, meet up each other at where the bride and groom is. For speeches, you just turn the light stand around and point them to the speaker. You could, you know, whatever you got to do. You know, they're very mobile, versatile, small, light. Really quickly, this is the best light stand you can buy if you want light stands that fit into your carry-on luggage, you know, up and down. I could fit 3 of these in one carry-on luggage, and, you know, with lights and stuff inside. Yeah, it's carbon fiber, it's lightweight, and it gets tall enough, and it's actually really stable. This is from Newer. It is the Newer carbon fiber travel light stand, whatever. I'll have links in the description. Look, if you click on these links and stuff like that, buy it from my links and I get commission from it, that's great. But this is not why I'm doing this video. Again, this is like really out there, and I just decided to do this out of the blue. While I just got these lights in and I started testing them out. I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. I'm just trying to let you guys know what I'm thinking, and this is the lights you should get if you're looking to like buy wedding videography light, upgrades the lights that you have, whatever. I think this is the way to go. And again, all this is just my opinion. Everyone has an opinion on how things should be done. And to be honest, if it works for you, there's no wrong way of doing it. You know what I mean? If that's what works for you, it works for you. This is just how I like to do things, man. Like, I don't like big, unnecessary stuff. Run and gun wedding, it needs to be quickly set up. It needs to be something that I don't have to worry about too much. And surprisingly, one of the biggest selling points of the lens also is like the display. Usually, once I turn it on, I set the Kelvin, which is 99% of the time, 3200 Kelvin. Sometimes the venue could be really crappy and, it's like 2800 Kelvin or whatever. You could get this down to 2800. Matter of fact, this thing could go down all the way to 1800 Kelvin to 10,000 Kelvin. And mind you, this is only the RGB version. The bicolor version, doesn't have as large of a range of bicoloration, if that makes any sense. But it's still a very usable large range in my opinion. So on the display, it shows you the Kelvin, and you could even check like how bright it is, by just clicking on the scroll wheel. It's a very easy way to navigate this light. But if you look closely here, it tells you how much time you have left. And you don't understand how important that is to me, because a lot of times I don't know how long the light's going to last. And it's up there, and let's say there's still like 2 hours left in this wedding reception, and I'm starting to get nervous that, hey, my battery's about to run out. Should I like put another battery on the light, whatever? Obviously, I always have solutions, for like powering my lights regardless. But it just gets rid of a lot of headache when the light actually tells me how much time is left in the battery. In this case, it says 1 hour and 2 minutes. Obviously, this battery is not fully charged. I'm gonna just quickly hop on this app. As expected, you can control everything you need to control with the app. Talking about the white balance, green, magenta shifts, intensity, you name it. Different modes and effects, like party mode that I was talking about. You do something like that. If you want to give the reception like a party vibe or what have you. Obviously that's not that saturated, so now you could probably see it better as it cycles through like the RGB and all that stuff. So plenty of options here. The only thing I noticed that I wish was on the app was the actual battery life remaining. So currently has 38% of the battery left. And typically, so this is like the battery that comes with it. And, in terms of battery life, it says it has 38% battery life. Let me see when I set it to 15% intensity. So at 15% with 38% battery life left, it says here it will last about 1 hour and 48 minutes, but it's increasing. So I guess, the battery takes some time. Seems like it takes some time to adjust, but it seems like on a full battery, you can expect 4 hours of battery life at 15%. So in my opinion, that's usually perfectly enough time for an entire wedding reception, no problem. And, you have to consider you're going to be turning this off. You're going to be turning the light off as well, at least a quarter of that time, or, dimming it down to like 1% or something. So I would be comfortable saying that this one battery pack here should last you the entirety of a wedding ceremony, of a wedding reception. So that's good to see. With or without the app, the actual navigation within the unit is very easy to go through. Scroll wheel, you have, a mode button, a menu button. It seems pretty self-explanatory. It's not complicated. In fact, I feel like it's actually a lot easier than, other lights out there. Also, to turn on and off the light, it's not like something you have to hold, wait for a while. It's literally, you just turn the switch on and then you just scroll down and then there it goes. It turns on. No complaints there. Literally, guys, in my opinion, like this is the perfect event light. Unless you have like a huge venue where you need more than 60 watts of power, this is plenty. I'm currently at LC30Bi, which is 38 watts. And most of the time, this is more power than I would need. I can't really think of anything better than this in terms of like, pretty much the main attachments you would need are the ones I showed you. Now, if you want to have like more zoomability, if you want more like ability to zoom, you know, like something like the LS60Bi, like something like the Aperture LS60Bi, Godox sells this zoom lens, this Fresnel zoom lens for this kit. So all you gotta do is just click this button right here. The mini, you know, the fixed Fresnel attachment comes right off, and then you just stick this on, and then now you have like a full-blown zoom lens for your light. So the beam gets smaller and larger as you scroll through. So it goes from 15 degrees all the way to 30 degrees with this little attachment. So like the kit that I got came with a bunch of attachments, but obviously there are a bunch of attachments that you could buy, you know, for this light that I don't have. You could attach this little diffusion bulb on it. You could attach all different kinds of little like diffusion modifications to the light. Like, it's a great ecosystem. They're not only, you know, you have these, but you have every other accessory. Basically, is any Godox accessory that says AK something, it will fit on this. You have softbox, you have other stuff. You have, you know, bones attachments that would enable you to use bones accessories. I could also confirm that although this looks like a mini bones, it is not. It is Godox's own attachment. So like other lights out there, like June and stuff like that, you need to get specific attachments that are made for this mount. You know, there's other attachments for this battery. Like you could put there's one attachment that allows you to use Sony MPF batteries. There's another attachment that enables you to screw it onto like a lamp. So it's like a light bulb. Another attachment comes with it is obviously the one that you put AC adapter through. One thing I wish it had was an adapter for like a V mount. But again, you could potentially use the adapter for the MPF mount and then buy like an MPF to V mount adapter and use it on that. So there's a lot of options here. And of course, you know, the easiest way is simply using a power bank like this one. It's very compact, 91.25 watt hours, 100 watts output. This is an iNew fast charge power bank. Links in the description below. My opinion, like in terms of size, capacity, 100 watts output, and price, I think it's like $66 or something like that. There's a really good value. I'm not going to talk about the case and all that stuff because I really just need the light and whatever accessories I need to bring with me to a wedding, which 9 out of 10 times would be just this little diffuser plus this little softbox plus this little barn door attached like this, and here's my light for 99% of wedding receptions. I would just run 2 of these crossing each other, and if I need additional lights, I could get another one of these or whatever. But again, these lights right now, the bicolor version is like $200, and that comes with pretty much everything you see here. If you need, like, it does come with the tilting attachments here. If you need like everything else, you could buy them, you know, additionally. And to be honest, you know, you could spend either probably less than $250 and have like everything you really need. I think this little Fresnel attachment right here, the zoom, I think it's like 80 some bucks. So it's $100. My opinion, for the size, weight, what it's capable of doing, it's well worth the money if you compare it with like cheaper lights out there. Again, look, like I get a bunch of free lights from all different brands. Juin, Ulanzi, I've gotten things from iFootage, GVM. These companies all make great lights, and I've all talked about it, and you don't really need this light. You know, there's ways, there's workarounds, like, I mean, pretty much what I've been doing all this time. But when I saw this one, I'm just like, this is the perfect light. This is a perfect system. Like, everything is there. It's just going to work. You know, like, I mean, literally I've been using this bare bones version of what this is, and this has been working perfectly fine, other than some workarounds here and there. But you know, the fact that this one has like its own battery attachment, like it's, you know, everything's solid, well thought out design, perfect form factor for an LED light, in my opinion. Like this is a perfect form factor for like a COB light, like a tube design. The weight distribution is proper. This is basically a perfect light for wedding filmmaking, run and gun event shooting. And honestly, you could use this light for anything else also. So, yep. Anyways, guys, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it helps you make a purchase decision on your next wedding videography light. Again, sorry for the disorganization, whatever. I figured I'd just make a video about it. Again, it's not sponsored. It's nothing. I bought this light with my own money. I just wanted to let you guys know about it. And yeah, as always, links are in the description below. And until next time, lighten up.
Your love is not a meme. Your love is not trendy today and irrelevant the next. Your love does not seek to duplicate, but inspires to be duplicated. Your love is not content created, but is a collection of moments that create memories lasting a lifetime into the next. It is not to be swiped away by the tick-tock of time, but is a story to be told until the end of it. Your love is more than just the silence of standing still, but it moves as loudly as the beat of your heart. Your love is improbable. Unique, timeless, authentic.
Oh my God, your lady, it too dark.
My guy, I'm just trying to keep my lighting look as natural and practical as possible.
If you want to be the best, if you want to be professional, if you want to make the most money shilling on social media, you need to be much brighter.
What the heck are you even talking about?
Let me show you.
Bro, I look like I'm about to go on CNN to report how to make money on social media being a tube doucher.
Sign up for my cinematic lighting to get sponsored by Squarespace Masterclass for only $29.99.